Joyner dropped a video earlier this year that's very similar to I'm Not Racist. It was titled Just Like You. It's off his 508 project. It's similar because this particular video is lip synced by two children, and they're making critiques about the black community. So it's sort of an inside out version of I'm Not Racist, or at least the Trump supporters verse of I'm Not Racist. It's just coming at you from a different visual perspective. Everything in a Joyner Lucas video is 100% intentional. He said on many occasions that he's more of a visual artist, or rather, he's a visual artist first, because whenever he sits down and writes a song, he will literally try to figure out every single detail if he were to turn that song into a video. So he figures out the details of the visuals. And because of that, we have to consider that everything is 150% intentional. There's a reason why the white guy is overweight. There's a reason why he's in his early 20s, he's in his late 20s to early 30s. And there's a reason why the kid is in his early 20s to mid 20s. Because there's such a difference in the age. It's mostly why I don't have a problem with one of the main critiques that I've heard about the record, which is the amount of affirmation that the Trump supporter gives the kid when it's his time to spit his verse. You see him nodding his head, and he looks like he's thinking and reconsidering his position, whereas the kid seems to just be shrugging his fucking shoulders and just basically saying, well, fuck that. I'm not going to change. I don't care. So I didn't really get bothered too much because of that, and maybe that's Joyner giving him a pass, and that's why he intentionally tried to pick people with that sort of an age gap. And then there's also the hug. Now, the hug I had more of a problem with because when I first saw the video, the hug gave me like a sense of finality. You know, I heard this song, and then I kind of reacted to it like, wait, what are you kidding me? When you listen to the record, or rather when you see the record several times over, you begin to understand that that's pretty much the reason why the record was made. I had no problem whatsoever listening to the Trump supporter say what he had to say. Been desensitized to it. All the bullshit that he had to say, had no problem with it. But when it came time for them to hug, then you cringed and you had a problem with it. And I think that's commentary on all of us if you have a problem with it. If you didn't have a problem with it, then I guess it isn't. But that's the intention of it. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's supposed to walk you through this experience that you've been a part of this whole time. There's even first person perspectives when they first start their verses of, with all due respect, I don't give a fuck about you. You're supposed to feel that. So by the end, you're supposed to feel something. If you feel discomfort, then that means that the video's done its job. So at first, when I first watched it, it bothered me. But when I saw it a couple more times, it didn't really. But you know what? I want to go back to the age thing. And the age gap made me crave something strange as I watched this video. And I thought for a second, would this video work if he were to create a sort of trapped in the closet scenario where other people were to come in, other people of different genders, of different age groups, of different perspectives. If you bring in somebody who's black, who'd be, considered a quote unquote coon, who comes in and stands by the side of the Trump supporter, then that brings about a whole new different dynamic. Nothing that's going to be said in a video is going to be groundbreaking. I'm not listening to a Joyner Lucas record looking to hear a crazy perspective that I have never considered ever. But what it can bring you is via the visuals, it can sit you down and have you consider a position from somebody who you would otherwise just dismiss if you were just listening to them in the middle of a conversation. So that made me sort of crave a series of these songs, and it probably won't happen because of the finality of the hug, though it would be crazy as fuck to just see a week from now they hug and then somebody else walks into the room. I mean, it's a creative video regardless, but if he did something like that, there's so much more to play around with. I also think Joyner's aware of the idea of being preachy. I mean, that's the reason why in Just Like You, which is also a very preachy record. I mean, these kids in the video are telling, you know, you've got this kid sitting in a living room telling his father and his friends, look, I don't want to be a criminal. I want to have a job. I want to have some ambition. I just don't want to sit around and smoke weed every day. And in the other verse, you have the girl who's telling her, you know, I don't want to be pregnant at 15. You know, I want to have some ambition. So they're very preachy records. And I think Joyner is aware that if he were in these videos, although he ended up in the third verse of Just Like You, but that was more of an optimistic side of the record where he was saying something, you know, like, you know, I want to aspire to be this, I want to aspire to be that. So he didn't show up for the preachy stuff, but he showed up for the end of the song that was more optimistic. But he's very aware of that and how that can hurt you by, you know, just sitting in a room and just pointing fingers at people, just like the Trump supporter and the kid were pointing at each other. So as an artist, he's able to just get out of his own way and to let you consider the message, because you're not making an ad hominem attack to him, you know, on his character based on the fact that he's in the video. So he sort of moves out of the way and the art really lets you consume it. As far as what I personally felt about the record, I liked it because this is what I was talking about when I told you guys last year, when I said that Trump being in office would make music better, but only if it was done by the right artists. You know, if they're done by lazy artists who just want to say fuck Donald Trump, then it's not really going to be effective. But if people come at it with a more creative approach, then it would really work. I'm anticipating that on Eminem's new album dropping, you know, later this month. I'm anticipating people to really dig in, as Trump's presidency it's a year old. It's not fresh anymore. We can really sit back and really have something to say. Yes, you're going to have a lot of people on many records repeating the same thing. As I said, Joyner isn't going to bring something new to the conversation. I'm not looking for him to do that, but by delivering it in a creative way, that's all I want him to do for me. But what did you guys think about the record? I want to know what you think in the comment section below. I will also lay the Just Like You music video down there too. Please let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time.